for those people who, are more tactically minded, can you share, like, what was your experience? Like, so how did you start building wealth while working this job? When did you decide, yeah, I want to leave this job and I want to support myself from my investments? Would you do anything different now looking back, from what you did?
Yeah, so for the tactical part, and that's something that I live by, because the mindset, like many of those that said, oh, if you're one of those listening that is like mindset is just blah 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 woo woo, I am
Yeah.
with you. I ignored it for quite a while because I'm a very type A person, analyzes and numbers and all of that stuff. Um, and ignoring the mindset part really, really sacrificed a lot of my growth and limited my finances in general. So one of the best things that I've done, it was starting that 401k contribution.
Mm.
And the reason why is, as I've learned later, was that I could convert, once I left the job, that 401k into a solo self-directed 401k. It was a mega backdoor, and very little people know about this. Very little people. So people know about self-directed IRA, but there's not so much openness about solo 401 self-directed 401ks. And the mega backdoor, it's like before tax, after tax, and Roth. It's a 3-in-1. And what self-directed means is that you get your money sits in a account, either whoever you pick, Fidelity, Vanguard, and Schwab, whatever you decide to go with. You get a checkbook, and you can now invest in real estate and buy properties with that checkbook. The other best thing, of course, I've done is start investing in real estate, and I paid for that knowledge. So, and just to give the flavor of how that sped up my process, is I've signed up for being part of a group. It wasn't even coaching, and it was $8,000 when I signed up. And then it was in October of 2014, and by January I had my first property.
Nice.
And it was a rental property, and I had like between 25 to 30K worth of equity. It was cash flowing $250 a month. And somebody might say, well, $250 a month is not a lot. It is not so much that is my first property that I only put $6K out of pocket. It just made a huge leap into someone that doesn't know anything. Like, I didn't really, again, I come from Moldova, right? So going from US is Planet Mars to, hey, I got my first property, it's incredible in terms of mindset right here. So with that, I just rinse and repeat, did the same thing.
And that was a single family home?
Single family, yes.
Got it.
And I had a good job, but I didn't have that much money saved. So when I started, I was looking for properties that I can fix. And, the BRRRR method. I didn't know at the time it was called BRRRR method. Now a lot of people know, but I was like, just find something that looks ugly, fix it up, put a tenant in, and then just go and do the same thing. Well, find something to fix it up, get private money, refinance it, put a tenant in, then repeat the process, right? So that's what I did. I would come home after work, and 2 hours I would dedicate to just scouting the internet, the whatever I could. Like, I would sign up for wholesalers list, everything that I could to find the property. So that's how I started. And then I accumulated the portfolio of single family, and I decided, which was a long goal that I was working towards, to sell most of the single family and go into an apartment complex. And now I'm like looking for an apartment complex again, and I'm buying also single family too, because for me, single family is the fastest and easiest way to get in. It's like less. You can do the multifamily too, but it's just I can see the equity right now and I can cash out if I want to through refinance versus a multifamily. The time horizon and the locking of the cash for that time horizon is much longer.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of other things that play into it. So for me right now, the strategies are the same, like get the cash, the quick refi, whatever, pull money out, and then again stack it up and pull it into an apartment complex.
Nice. So that was December 2013, almost exactly 11 years ago.
Yeah, so it was October 2014 when I've joined the group and started with real estate. Yeah.
October 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it. Okay. So then you
So it's
bought,
over
and then
10
you,
years now.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. So
Or is it? No, hold on. We're in October. It's 10
yeah,
years.
10 years, 10 years. Yeah. And then you bought your first one 2 months later. And so was it, I'm always curious on what was your initial goal when you first set out into real estate? Um, and then how did that evolve over time?
Get enough cash flow to get out a job.
Okay. So you were at that point, you were like, I want to free myself from my 9 to 5.
In a way, I love, again, I'll go back to saying I love ExxonMobil, and I know there could be controversy. Some people are for oil and gas, some are not. I could completely understand. There's bad and good to everything. But I just wanted to have the ability to decide.
Mm.
And then the second thing is not too long after that, we were traveling to Italy, and I saw this couple that was really frail, and they were walking down. Some of parts of Italy are very hilly with cobblestone, and I was looking at them, and I'm like, they were talking in English, so I could figure out that this is a couple from US. And I was looking at them like, oh my gosh, if I wait until the 65 comes around and I do this in retirement full time and I can barely walk these streets and I'm trying to hold on to my other half and he's trying to hold on to me so we don't roll down the hill together. I don't think I like that. I want to enjoy life today, but still plan for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I did ask, like we kind of walked together into a shop too, and I asked them, "Hey, where are you from? So cool to see you." And they're like, "Yeah, we're from U.S. We retired and not too long ago, and we're traveling the world, and but we're taking it easy because our knees hurt, and but we try to enjoy every day as it comes." So it was really sweet, and it was really sad at the same time.
Mm.
And then as my goal evolved, and you ask how the goals evolved, I became a mom. And I admittedly can say that I am a workaholic. I don't know if I'm a recovered workaholic yet, but when I was at Exxon, like I give my best and some, so I'll come home late, and I'll spend just maybe an hour or two with my little daughter, and I'm like, no, that's just, and I don't even see the day, I don't spend the time, like I nurse her quickly in the morning, I run out the door, and I come home, and I like spend an hour and put her to bed. I'm like, and that's gonna be my life too? Like I want to be a present parent. I don't know if you guys, the listeners, if you find yourself in those moments and you look at your surroundings and think, man, that's not really what I want, but I'm here. And then your mind starts searching for, okay, what do I do? How do I get what I want? And it's hard. It's hard because I was groomed to stability in the college, stability in the workforce, stability in the job, and especially here in the U.S. And I'm sure this comes to your thoughts too. It's like, okay, well, how do I get insurance? The job provides insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I do have my 401k. How do I get 401k? Like That's another
Yeah.
perk that you get from employee. And man, that paycheck stable coming in, it's you can rely on it until you can't.
Yeah.
You can until you can't. So it was really, really hard to, even after having the real estate, to make that transition and say, okay, I'm going up the corporate ladder and I'm doing good and I'm going to let it go after all these
Yeah.
years that I have put into that. But then I've put a time into the real estate too. So,
Well, it's got to be a juxtaposition too of, going from the experience you had as a 16-year-old and just dreaming about, I mean, that like to be able to be in the position you were in with ExxonMobil and bringing in that type of income to balance that, with, the thought that, well, I made it here, but yet at the same time, is this really what I want? And I think so many
mm-hmm.
people deal with that, not even having the experience you had, but just dealing with the balancing being grateful for the life that I have and being grateful for climbing to a place that most people dream about, but yet at the same time, knowing that there is something else out there and that you can have freedom and still make a great living at the same time. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're so spot on this. I actually remember two things that were happening at that time. So one, I remember walking. So Exxon has built, for many of you that know or not know, they've built their own campus and it's a beautiful campus. It's glass everywhere. So I was just sitting one day looking out that beautiful view and I was thinking, man, from where I come, I can't believe that how far I've I've gotten into the US system and the job. Like I was so grateful and thanking for where I was. But then at the same time, like you said, there's other ways.
Mm-hmm.
And here's by any means, what I want to say is that you don't have to leave your job, okay? It's another thing that people are like, okay, you're a slave to 9 to 5 and whatever. If you enjoy it, then by any means stay in it. Like you don't have to leave. If you cannot, don't have the risk or don't want to take on the risk of parting with your job, that's fine too. Regardless of what people say, what it boils down is what is going to be holistically good for you. So if you are going to walk away, but you're going to be stressed out the whole time because you're not having that consistency or stability, then don't. That's like at the expense of your health. And it could be at the expense of those that you surround yourself with because now you're going to lash at them or whatever, take it out of them.
Yeah.
But what I would say is no matter if you stay in your job or no matter if you walk away in your job, you just cannot rely on one thing. You just can't because you're putting all your life, all of the lives of those that you love, especially if you have a wife and children or a husband and children or whoever, or if you will going to have, if you put all your faith and all you have in one paycheck, it's taking a huge risk, bigger than you think that it's not risky. Because if you invest in real estate, if you invest in the stock market while investing in real estate, and by the way, stock market can be very easy investing. You don't have to go through this complicated stuff, If I put random numbers and did good,
Yeah.
I know way more now, but I'm not saying you should do that. That's not advice.
You're the first person I've ever heard that's contributed 25% to their 401k. So that's incredible.
I know people would say that in the beginning, the same thing, but because I'm like, oh no, I do 10%. I'm like, no, I did more than that. But anyway, the whole point is just don't rely on one thing. You have to build stuff outside because if something happens and it doesn't mean you're bad, you can be the best employee out there. But if AI takes over some job, sorry, your skills are not suitable anymore and they downsize a company or a branch of the company and they have to let you go as much as they don't want you to go, but it's just business, right? They will make the best decision in the best of the company, and that's okay. As much as sometimes it's hard for us to accept that, because we're like greedy corporations. I get it. But if you're a business owner, you will understand that if you have 100 employees and you have to let go of 2, you're gonna probably let go of the 2 to make sure that the other 98 are good. So the other thing that I was facing at the time is people were telling me that, why are you leaving? You have a stable job. You're making a mistake. Your children are gonna, like, your girl is gonna want to go and have ballet classes, and you are not gonna be able to afford that. One is the assumption that like, you're not gonna make it if you go out of your job. But second, I was like, well, even if things get really bad and I cannot afford ballet classes,
that's really bad. Yeah.
then I will sleep at peace knowing that I was part of my daughter's life, and that is more important for having ballet classes, because I am raising a human being that is more emotionally balanced, and I'm raising a human being that will contribute to the society as a whole in the future, the next generation. So I rather be there for them. And yeah, we might have to sacrifice the ballet.